The issue of the incarceration of our former president, Jacob Zuma, is going to cause more chaos if not handled politically, because it seems to be now political that he has got to go to prison, and it looks like it's out of vengeance, because as long as the man whom former President Jacob Zuma is said to have ignored his instructions, and that's defied the instructions of that commission, of the Zondo commission. As long as Justice Zondo, Chief Justice Zondo, is still in the helm, courts are automatically obliged to make sure what he sent Advocate Ngobaitobi to achieve will go on until Jacob Zuma stays in prison for 15 months. Because 15 months is what actually they asked, and he is now forced to serve that 15 months, whether he is sick or not. So we are being led by people who want to prove that the riots that occurred in 2021 July just came because of poverty. It was not because Jacob Zuma was incarcerated. So they want to prove to the nation that it was not. And if ex-president go to jail again, the same thing is going to happen. So I don't know why they want to prove that, because people will use that as an excuse of going on a rampage of looting again. So why are we doing that? What are we going to achieve by taking Jacob Zuma to jail for 15 months for contempt of court? Here, the court has said the person who has done an unlawful act of releasing the ex-president illegally is Arthur Fraser. Now, my question is, why don't you charge Arthur Fraser for having released Jacob Zuma unlawfully? Why charge the victim? Because here we are talking about a prisoner. A prisoner, his hands are tied. He had nothing to do with his release. If his captors are saying they've had enough of him, he can go to jail, or there are certain reasons. And I don't know why would you say the medical unfit certificate was unlawful or was wrong. So if that is the case, then the doctors who issued those medical reports that informed Arthur Fraser to release Jacob Zuma on medical parole, those doctors must be arrested, because that means they have fraudulently allowed themselves to be used by whoever used them in order to cause chaos in the country. Because this release and this re-incarceration of President Jacob Zuma is going to cause chaos, and is going to cause riots in this country. And we are not ready for that. The economy is collapsing. The country is collapsing. There's no electricity. We are in dire straits. Why go for things that will cause? And yet we were able to forgive people who oppressed us for many years. From 1910 to 1994, we were able to forgive those people and say they could go scot-free, having killed individuals, having hanged people like Solomon Mahlangu, for nothing, because Solomon Mahlangu was a mistaken identity. The fact that he was part of the struggle didn't mean that on that particular day he was involved in that shooting. He went to jail and was hanged for nothing. And the judges who hanged him are forgiven. The judges who hanged people like Raymond, or this guy the Manzimtoti bomb, also were not taken to task. Yeah, the Zondo guy who planted the bomb in Manzimtoti, he was hanged. And here is the leader of DA whose father hanged this guy Zondo. Nobody is talking about that. We are forgiving. We want to be a rainbow nation. But when it comes to Jacob Zuma, then there's a problem that he cannot be forgiven for contempt of court. Why would this contempt of court not have a fine? Because contempt of court is normally punished by a fine. But why not for Jacob Zuma? Then there's a problem with this sentence. It's vengeance. It's a war between Jacob Zuma and Raymond Zondo. And I think the leaders of KwaZulu-Natal, more specifically, should intervene and diffuse this. It is the prerogative of a commissioner of prisons to release anybody on parole. It is not the court, it is not the president, but the commissioner of prisons should be the one that releases Jacob Zuma. So the ball is in the court of the commissioner of prison in KwaZulu-Natal, because this incarceration was in Escort. The commissioner of prison in charge of that prison should be the one that diffuses this time bomb, because it is going to cause calamity and we are not ready for that. Let us not entertain the feud between Jacob Zuma and Raymond Zondo at the expense of the masses, because more than 300 people died in July 2021 when this thing started, after Jacob Zuma was incarcerated. So we need to stop this madness. We need to stop it. It's madness and it's not supposed to happen. So our courts must also understand that this government, including this judiciary, can be made ungovernable by decisions such as this. There's nothing that anybody is going to lose or gain if Jacob Zuma goes to jail or he does not go to jail. There is no need for him to go to jail now. This is what everybody in KwaZulu-Natal is saying. Because the people in Cape Town do not care, because there will be no riots there. In Limpopo, there will be no riots. But people in KwaZulu-Natal will be most affected. We are speaking here as the citizens of KwaZulu-Natal who see that there could be chaos if Jacob Zuma is taken back to jail. We need not prove this. We can even find. Why can't he be even fined? This is bad. This is very bad.